Terraria's most popular class by far is the melee class because it has so many weapons. But as people have also brought up many times before, it's fair to question if the melee class is even melee anymore. There are dozens of quote-unquote melee weapons that feel more like magic or ranged weapons or don't have anything to do with close-up combat at all. So let's answer this simple question. Is Terraria's melee class even melee? Let's start off with a very easy definition. Melee attack is a term commonly used in the gaming industry to refer to a close-range combat technique or action performed by characters or players within a game. It involves physical attacks using weapons or bare hands as opposed to ranged attacks such as shooting or casting spells. I would say that for the most part, the melee class in Terraria follows this definition in pre-hard mode. There are a few swords such as the Star Fury, Ice Blade, and Enchanted Sword which technically have projectiles, but you still have to stay very close to most enemies to deal good damage. And still, most good pre-hard mode weapons don't even have projectiles at all. The Knight's Edge, for example, is the best melee weapon in pre-hard mode, and it doesn't even have a real projectile. It relies purely on close-range combat. Most non-sword melee weapons are also pretty true to the melee class. There's only one spear with a ranged attack and only one yo-yo with a real projectile. Ultimately, the vast majority of weapons in pre-hard mode are true melee weapons, forcing the player to get somewhat close to their target to do real damage. But things definitely change in hard mode, and I think that's where the real issue shows up. Hard mode fundamentally changes the melee class almost instantly. Instead of most weapons being short range with a few exceptions, the hard mode melee weapons are mostly long-ranged projectile launchers, with true melee weapons being the outlier. The main reason for this is obviously the increased enemy and boss difficulty. It's extremely difficult to beat most hard mode bosses with true melee because most of them have a bunch of projectiles and fast movement options themselves. Going in there and getting super close to a boss like Queen Slime can often be too risky, since getting hit by the body a few times can straight up kill you. This has resulted in most viable melee weapons in hard mode being very reliant on projectiles. The Terra Blade, Influx Waver, Flying Dragon, True Knight's Edge. All of the most recognizable melee weapons later in the game are not ones with super good close-up damage, they're ones with very good projectiles. There are plenty of challenge videos out there where people try to beat Terraria only using true melee weapons, and it's surprisingly difficult in hard mode because there aren't a ton of great options. This might be annoying to some melee purists, but to be fair to the developers, I wouldn't say it's their fault. They were faced with a choice, either make the melee class evolve into more of a pseudo-ranged class without ammo, or change the way that hard mode bosses work in the first place for the sake of making true melee viable. Obviously they made the right choice by simply making the melee class evolve. At the end of the day, I think it's clear that the melee class in Terraria isn't true melee, and it never really has been. I view it as the category that every Terraria weapon which doesn't fit with the other classes kinda just gets lumped into. I mean, let's be real, are boomerangs or yo-yos really close-ranged melee weapons? Not really. Do you think Terraria should make some changes to the melee class, or do you like it as it is? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments, and as always, remember to subscribe as well, because we are getting pretty close to 3K, and I would appreciate your help. Alright, bye-bye.